Today we're going to talk a little bit about Airstream doors. Mostly, closed right that time. Today we're going to talk about Airstream doors. Mostly, ones that don't close right. Talk about some of the telltale signs you can look for. And we're going to try to fix this one. So with our door, one of the first things we wanted to take a look at is this seam. Okay, you can see it's pretty tight here. Pretty wide up there. Over here, a little tighter, a lot wider. Okay, so that would tell us that our door needs to get turned this way a little bit. Some other things to take a look at. Take a look at your hinges. You have a top hinge and a bottom hinge. What you want to look at is where they might be hitting. So you can see this one's kind of hitting right here, and I can actually feel it. And if you look, you can see there's a little ledge here. Up here, it's actually the other way. Okay, so that tells us that this hinge right here, that tells us this hinge needs to come this way. That's one thing. Now, if you're having problems with it latching, you may also want to take a look at this little bolt right here. You can see I'm actually striking pretty close to that nut. Now, No Locks makes another nut, another stud, where this nut is a lot smaller. So you don't have to worry about hitting that. But I could probably add another one of these washers and pull this whole thing this way a little bit. But I think for now, just fixing that bottom hinge should do the trick. Okay, to start out, we have to remove this little piece of trim, which, if you remember my video when we replaced this bottom piece on the door, we used this tool right here. It worked pretty well to just get in here. This is just held on with some double-sided tape, and the key is to not bend it. And that took it right off. Hopefully we'll be able to stick it on. Otherwise we'll just go ahead and use some double-sided tape like we did down below. Alright, so you see how these are held on. It's just 2 Allen screws. So all we have to do is get the proper size Allen wrench in there, and we'll loosen this up a little bit. Then we're going to use some wood shims to shim this door, to shim this opening a little bit wider, and tighten them back up, see what happens. Okay, so these are 2 torque bolts. I'll just go ahead and loosen them up a little. And now we're going to see if we can shift this door this way. Alright, so I ended up loosening up these bolts just a little bit as well. But I was able to get this whole door moved over just about enough where I think we're at this place we need to be. Let's see if we can give it a little more, just a little more adjustment. Now we're just tapping this whole door over at the hinge. That looks pretty even. Let's go ahead and tighten them up and we'll see how it closes. Now I should add that these bottom ones are pretty loose. And actually the only one that was tight was this top one. Now, prior to this, it would start binding right about there, and the door would actually stop moving. Now, very free moving. Let's see how it closes. It's hardly any pressure at all. So, for this door, the problem was right here in this, really this lower hinge. It was just off a little bit. The reason it was off is because, more than likely from the factory, it was never as tight as it should have been, as well as this one. That was the only one that was really super tight. So over time, just opening and closing the store, driving down roads. We just came back from Texas, some of the bumpiest roads between here and Texas that you'll drive on. And I'm sure all that gave it a little bit of jiggling. But there you go, that's the way the door should close. Well, all right, we're able to fix this door. If you have a problem like this, the first thing you want to do is take a look at the seam all the way around. Make sure that's even. If that's even, then you're going to come in here, take a look at this latch pin, just see where it's striking on it, because the door actually could have moved and it could be hitting on this in the wrong direction. Hasn't done that in a long time. Yeah, it could be that that pin needs to come in or out with a washer. A lot of things that can happen here, but the most common thing that I've heard from people is these hinges. Yeah, and it's just that the hinge will loosen up a little bit over time. Like I said, these flex. Airstreams flex. That's why they pop rivets. And this door is just a big hole that's flexing. So it's going to be something that everybody's going to have to do eventually. Just be careful taking that trim off, because you want to be able to put that trim back on. If you don't have enough adhesive on the piece of trim, just use a piece of good double-sided tape. And like we did when we replaced that piece on the bottom of the door. Which, you know, all those things could have been related. Who knows? But it's fixed now. All right, thanks for tuning in. If you know somebody this video can help, go ahead and share it with them. We appreciate you coming here, and we'll see you down the road. Thanks.